Hey everybody! Hey, we made
Hi.
it. Sorry
Hi.
we're a little bit
Yay.
late. We had some technical difficulties getting everything underway and going, but we're here now. And she has a channel. It's linked up down below. You guys can go down there and
Yes.
check it out. It is the Encouraging Homeschool Mom, right?
Yay.
Tell us a
That's
little bit
right.
about your
That's
channel real
right.
quick before we dig into the questions.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Tim?
Tell us a little bit about your channel real quick.
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. And now I have your voice in my head. You know what it is? I think I have your channel. I have the live stream going.
Oh, the live
Excuse
stream's
me.
going also in the back. Yeah.
That's what a fan I am. I'm watching as I'm trying to.
Watch it
Okay, real
multiple
quick.
times.
So, on the Encouraging Homeschool Mom, I share encouragement for moms from the blessed trenches of real life because we're living it every day with our children and we need a cheerleader. I need a cheerleader, so it gives me encouragement to encourage other mamas.
And now you're gonna cheerlead
So,
us.
that's right.
Thank
That's
you. Let me
right.
do this. Let me adjust this a little bit. No, we're
So,
doing okay, but we've taken a little bit of a
and the
break from homeschooling
twins
for the
are
past
freaking out.
month or so because we've got this is Chloe.
Hey,
Oh, we got some
Chloe.
spit
She
up
stood
there.
up. Yay. I like it when they stood
Yay!
up.
Woohoo!
Means they ate enough.
Hi, baby. This is Chloe, and this is Karis, and they're
They are
identical twin
watching
girls.
what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, hey, baby. I always
Hey,
get in trouble from the
baby.
comments when I do this. People are like, "You're gonna drop her. You're not holding her right." But
This ain't your
there
first
she
rodeo.
is.
You have held a baby.
Woo! Say
Aw.
hi.
Hi, sweet babe.
So tell us a little bit about your family. How many kids you got? How long you been
So,
homeschooling?
yeah, so we have been homeschooling forever, over 10 years. Our oldest is 15 and a half. And
Wow.
then we have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old. It's like stepped all the way down. Our 2-year-old is about to be 3. And then we have baby Daniel, and he just turned 1. So
Okay.
everybody's involved in the therapeutic milieu, which is the homeschool around the kitchen
Yeah.
table. Yeah.
Cool.
So
So you guys are working on being a family team also, right?
that's right. Big family team going on here at the Stewart
Yeah.
house.
Awesome. Well, for those of you who don't know, I grew up homeschooled my whole life, kindergarten through 12th grade. My first day of school was kind of like college. so, so we are homeschooling these two plus our other four. For those who might not be aware, Hannah is 6, Zeke is 5, Hallie is 2, and Toby is 1, and then these girls are
Good
4
job.
weeks.
Good job.
So yes, Avery, the other 4 are sleeping right now. They're
Wow.
upstairs. So
Look behind you.
oh, you're supposed to be sleeping.
Hello.
Go get in bed.
Go get in bed.
Both
You
of
can
you.
go to the bathroom. Go potty. Go to bed.
No
This is
YouTube right
live.
now for you.
It's real life. Yeah. So you guys who are watching you in the chat, we want to just do some homeschool Q&A with you guys because every time Dan and I talk about homeschooling in one of our vlogs, one of our videos, here live streaming, it's like whew, all sorts of
All the
comments and
questions.
questions pop up. And so what we want to do here with you guys is just dedicate maybe half hour or so just to helping you guys and answering some of them for you because I know homeschooling is not for everybody. Different people believe different things, have different values and everything that lead to different decisions, and so that's fine. We're not here to bash anyone either way. We just want to help you guys think about it. So first question for you, Jamerrill. This is from
Sure.
Chaos and Critters. I see your YouTube URL says nurse for JC. Are you a nurse? I'm a nurse, certified pediatric nurse, and
Woo.
IBCLC. Nice to see more homeschooling nurses.
Yes, I am a nurse. And the first 3 years that we homeschooled, I worked full time as a nurse, working the Baylor shift and homeschooled Monday through Friday during the week. So I always try to encourage because I'll hear from moms who want to know, can you work and homeschool? And so now I run a business from home, but those first 3 years I worked full time outside of the home. And like with nursing, you can get a lot of your hours in working those 12-hour shifts and 16-hour shifts, but it's whatever you have to do for the family team, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I did. Yeah.
Cool. What's your Maddie Putnam? See, I was homeschooled. What is your favorite subject to teach the kids?
Oh, well, we're really hitting spelling and reading hard right now, and that's actually enjoyable. But we love history. We're a history loving family. So it seems like we'll have entire years that we get lost. I think the last 3 or 4 years has been World War II at our house. But of course, that dives into so many other subjects.
Right.
So history, definitely with my older boys, different battles and historical events. But even little Liam, he just turned 5, and he can tell you about the Holocaust and tell you about just the Revolutionary War facts. And like, because I've watched some of your homeschooling videos, especially with little Hallie, they're all there. They don't necessarily know that we're doing school. We're living life.
They just want to be a part of what you're doing.
That's right.
Yeah. I think my favorite is probably math, because I still understand it at their level right now. Once you start putting letters to it, I'm like, oh boy, it's been a while.
Well, and like you guys know, homeschooling, there are things that you learn along with your children.
Yes.
So you talk to these veteran homeschool moms, and they're like honorary PhDs because they've been educating and re-educating for 20 or 30 years, and they know a thing or two. So.
Yeah. Cool. Your favorite subject, Hannah?
I don't really know. It's just, we're only in the basics right now, and everything's just exciting whenever the light bulbs come on and they understand it. So I haven't found a favorite subject yet. So hopefully it'll be the same favorite subject as our kids.
Yeah.
If not, they're going to love it.
Yes.
Paige Gazan, how do you decide the pace of teaching your kids? I'm guessing that means pace. Like, so we just kind of let the kids choose their pace within reason, right? Like, they're like, oh, I don't want to do school today. We're like, too bad, you gotta do school today. Right? But we kind of let them just, you can kind of tell when their like attitude and their whole mood is changing, and they're like, okay, we're not gonna make any more progress on this today.
Right.
Time to put it away. Or sometimes like we go through spurts, like we'll spend like a lot of time working on like telling time lately, and then after that we'll spend more time on other things after they get it. So we kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah, you watch their mood, and you look for cues too.
Yeah.
As to if they're really struggling with math and they've put a good 15 or 20 minutes into it, and you just know it's their best. You don't want to keep necessarily pushing. And again, you know your child because you're the parent, but you may decide, okay, if you do 2 more problems, your very best for me, then we will put it away for today, and you can pick what we do next.
Yeah. Cool.
I try to always leave something with a positive spin.
Yeah. Aim and tie. I have friends who were homeschooled. They all went on to good colleges or raised good families. Am I wrong, or is homeschooling really that beneficial in the long run? So for me, like what homeschooling taught me was how to learn, not just like the facts of how things, but I learned the process of self-teaching, self-educating myself. And now here I am today, like everything that I've made money on that supported my family for the past 6-7 years now has all been stuff that was self-taught. So I learned not just like facts, but I feel like it set me up to learn how to be like a self-motivator, self-starter, teacher, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Not just memorizing facts for a test.
Right.
I'm going to go put kids back in bed. I will be our babe.
Oh.
And I have elephant footprints upstairs.
That's right. Boom, boom. My husband, I got the notification you have just rented this movie on Amazon. And I thought, okay, they're watching the movie.
There you go.
I can't see the questions, Dana. I didn't know if you want to do an.
Okay.
You guys see them.
Let me see.
Oh my! See, it's live. It's live.
I know. Now you can hear the crying in the background.
For fun, just before we started this, I had baby Daniel up here, and it looked like he was chewing something, and I swiped his mouth, and he had a ladybug in his mouth.
Oh yuck! Hannah used to eat those.
Protein.
So gross. Someone, Diane L. asked, so how can you homeschool while part-time work? I'm an ultrasound tech. My son is 4. My daughter is 1. What can I do? So, like, how did that work for you?
Sure, Julie. And I know several moms who in the nursing and in the medical field who still work, because like for me, I work the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. And then Monday was just a really slow day. Monday we did a little bit in the afternoon, but it was basically the Tuesday through Fridays that we homeschool. You can also, if you're working, if you look at not necessarily doing a full-time schedule 5 days a week, if you do a gentle schedule year-round. One mom that I know she works on Wednesday, Friday. So that's part of the beauty of homeschooling is you really can make your own schedule. I know depending on your state, it's always good to call HSLDA or one of these homeschool legal groups. But if you can know what your state rules and regulations are, some states you have to track how many weeks you do, and some states you track hours. So if you can just work that around your working schedule, you need to have some sort of support. Like for me, if I did work a 3 to 11 shift, well, my husband was able to catch that hour that I left. So we tag team. And single moms who I know who work in homeschool, they have either a friend or they have some other support system set up to catch those hours when they're working. So those are a few of my ideas. A lady just asked him about how you work in homeschool.
Not very well with twins.
Not at the same time.
Like
for me and my business now, I have dedicated hours outside of our homeschool hours. Obviously.
Yeah, we do homeschool in the morning. Now we're getting back into the rhythm of it. Now the twins are, we took some time off when Dana was at the end of her pregnancy and up until just this week. So now we're getting back into it. We're going back to our normal routine of I work or I do homeschool with them probably to about 11 in the morning. And then at 11 I come down, try to catch up on some quick stuff from I got a couple people who are on my team and so who work for me, and so I'm catching up with some of the work that they've done, helping them answer questions, help them keep going. Then I go back upstairs for lunch around noon, and then I try to work all afternoon. We have a nanny who's here from 1 to 6 every day, and so while she's with the kids and cleaning and doing meals prep and stuff like that, I'm trying to get work done in the afternoon. So I'm not really I haven't worked full time for a while now, which is good that we're in this position to be able to do that. But it's also kind of for me personally, I'm man, there's so many other opportunities and things I could be executing on if I have more time to give to it. But family's first, right? And that's why I do this in the first place, to support the family, and they're supported. So that's where we're at.
Yep. Had to just keep handing things over to the Lord.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Where are we at?
I've seen a couple of questions, people asking about my education. I did go to school for elementary education, and I was certified in Texas for pre-K through 4th grade. And I never had my own classroom, but I did do long-term subbing in several different classrooms. So I have some experience in the field.
That's good.
You guys talk about why homeschool?
No.
A bunch of people, like the Benders, asking, why did you choose to homeschool? And other people.
You tell me. You want me to go first? You go first.
Yeah, we chose to homeschool because, and this is a bigger question or a bigger answer than just that question, but
they both have the hiccups. Sorry.
Yeah. We want to be the primary influence in our kids' lives, and it's hard to be that when you give them to someone else all day, every day. And we also felt that there's things that we wanted to teach them that is harder for them to get in school, such as Bible education, working together as a family team. When they're not around our team, it's hard to train them how to do that. We also wanted them to have good relationships with peers, but also have good relationships with adults. There's a lot of people who are really concerned about socializing kids and stuff, but it's always with their peers. I'm well, what about kids who grow up knowing how to have good, positive, healthy relationships with adults too,
Right.
With their boss.
Right. Yeah. So we want our kids to grow up seeing adults, not necessarily as peers, but as people they can relate to and talk to and connect with, just as much as their peers. And so they have plenty of neighborhood friends and homeschool friends and stuff where they get their peer stuff from. We also felt like sending them to school gave over a lot of freedom that we wanted to have as far as our schedule and our time together. And, as soon as you're an employee at a job, and as soon as you start sending, that's one thing, someone else is controlling your time and telling you when you can go back to your family, when you have to leave them, how much time you get to spend with them as vacation every year, things like that. Then you're giving up all your family rhythm and your family time and control to someone else. And then when you add on your kids in school, that happens even more because now it's their teachers are setting the agenda of how much time they get to spend at home, and then your kids do extracurricular activities. That's even less time with the family. So I feel like there's just so many natural tendencies in society that's just pulling families apart, and we're like, let's do something different that lets our family work and serve and play and learn and rest and celebrate and everything together rather than separate. So that's part of it. I could keep going, but
I know it's a big topic. And on with the socialization, just a little something else to throw out there is, like you all mentioned, whenever you grow up and you are in a workforce, you're not in a building or an office with 50 other 7-year-olds or 30 other 9-year-olds. You have diverse races and age groups. And so with homeschooling, as you had said, their children are exposed to all ages.
Yeah.
In their friendships.
So many good questions going on here.
Heidi had a good comment earlier, saying that you don't have to have an education in order to homeschool.
Right. I have an old IT degree that's out the window now, and of course I'm a nurse. So
anybody
that's
can
as far
do
as
it.
Mama went. That's right. And I know lots of moms that just they have their high school diplomas or they have some college, but the number one priority is they're a mother with a heart for their children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that they need.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then even when they come home from school, it seems like, from what I've seen, the kids have so much homework that you're helping them with that you might as well have just homeschooled them anyway.
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours of homework. You could have had a solid homeschool day.
Yeah. And then it's stressful because you don't actually know the curriculum that the teacher has been spending all the time in prepping.
And a lot of it, is just for certain standardized testing.
Yeah. When I was homeschooled, I went to an open house for a day once in middle school just to hang out with my friends there. Sure. It was like for parents, but I was like, I'm going to go hang out too. So just to see what school's like. And it's, and I don't know, maybe this is just this one school, but it seemed to me that the amount of work that was actually done during the time they were at school, like, is the same amount of work that I would have done in maybe like an hour sitting on my bed at home.
And there's studies that show that.
Inefficient use of time.
I can't cite the studies right now, but I'm sure HSLDA has it, where they've studied the amount of time that it takes a classroom teacher between getting everyone standing in line, walking them to the cafeteria, going outside, getting everyone seated at desks, then dealing with troublemakers and other situation. I believe it was that there was, and someone may find that I'm wrong, but like an hour and a half a day of actual classroom teaching, and then about 15 to 20 minutes one-on-one with each student. And so if you homeschool for 3 or 4 solid hours, you've just blown those numbers out of the water. And we have days, especially this time of year with the winter months and we're snowed in, where we're having really long, usually January through March or April, we have just massive, it's very long homeschool days here. But it's where we get a lot of extra reading and extra big projects and things done.
Yeah. Me Love Friends asks, is there testing along the way to make sure the kids are where they need to be? How does getting a high school diploma work? I've always been interested in homeschooling. So
that varies per state. You've got to look at your
state laws.
Yeah.
In my state, growing up, Pennsylvania, we had to be tested every other year up and through like the 8th or 9th grade. And the tests were always a joke. It was like, I remember one year, like the science section had like 3 pictures of like a tree, an alligator, and a cup of glass. And the question was, which one of these is like an animal or something? I was like, seriously? What are they teaching kids these days?
And some states too have a portfolio option.
Yeah, we had to do that too.
Submit a portfolio. Some states want a certified teacher to sign off on the portfolio. And that's where, like I know in Virginia, we have Home Educators Association of Virginia, and I'm sure every state has one. And they're an organization that will educate you on the exact requirements for your state.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's nice.
And we have a big high school graduation. Did you get more spit up?
No, that was a toot.
That was the other end.
What's happening?
That was that right there.
Whoop. Uh-oh. We have at I believe it's the Richmond Convention Center, where we have our large state homeschool conference. They have a statewide high school graduation. So in a few years when Jaden graduates, Travis and I will be on stage with him, and we will be there to hand him his diploma for his graduation.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just a special thing,
really
like
meaningful.
handing it off. I know, cry. Yeah.
It's a good question. Amantai, what is the process for parents considering homeschooling for the first time? Where do we get materials, and who do we speak with, or just like, where do I get started?
Right.
I think you have a website about that, don't you, or something?
I do. Well, I have
Maybe.
Jamerrill Homeschooling. So I have a site called Free Homeschool Deals that has a lot of free things for homeschoolers. But there's, I just always go back to HSLDA in the how to homeschool category. And again, the state organization. I know Pennsylvania has a state organization, Ohio does, because that can point you with your state laws.
Yeah.
But I think getting started is not a lot of rocket science. It's a lot of natural things that you would do with your children anyway,
Right.
as far as, learning the numbers and the colors and reading and stories. And I don't even suggest that parents get a curriculum the first couple years, because a lot of the things you have at home, that's why I have all the free worksheets. Just print them off.
And it's just like through your normal conversation with your kids. It's like, oh, it's time to eat. Hey, guys, what time is it right now? What time do we eat at? Okay, what time it is. You figure out the time, or, here it's time to make our sandwiches for lunch. Let's cut them into half. How do we cut that? So you're teaching just like throughout your day, rather than like sit down, have a book. And we do have that part too, but
sure,
I like the integrating it a lot too. Today's Maya's birthday, so we just say happy birthday, Maya. She's getting the chat. It's my birthday. Let's see here. I've been watching Jamerrill. I've started watching your vlogs when you were in the Schmoyers vlog when you met at the buffet restaurant.
That's right. We introduced the Schmoyers to a buffet. Yay!
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
One of the things we learned from Jamerrill's family is that when your family gets to be a certain size, you just go to a buffet.
And the biggest reason for that too, I was explaining to the kids who you guys were again. And I was joking about, you hadn't been to a buffet, but it's the waiting for the food. If you have 9 people and you have lots of small children, when you order, if you have to wait for meals to be delivered, we just go to a buffet instead.
That's smart. And there's so many options, so they can pick what they want.
Yes.
I'm sure you have a little bit of a guideline of what to pick.
Sure. You can't start with cotton candy, so.
Right.
So you're asking how we tell the twins apart. What we do is this is Chloe, sorry. Chloe has a pink bracelet. You guys can see that right there?
Okay.
Pink bracelet. So Chloe is almost always in pink. So pink pacifier. She's not in pink outfit right now, but in pink. And Karis is purple. So she's got a little purple bracelet on, purple outfit, purple pacifier. And then their toenails, in the hospital before we left, we painted their toenails pink and purple toes.
But we can also, their faces aren't completely identical, so we can also tell by just looking at them.
Yeah.
Who's who, usually.
So she's wide awake. She's having fun.
Yeah.
Good question from Leslie. Ideas for a weary mom of 5 kiddos, 7 and under.
Woo!
We have 6 and under.
Times.
So, for 2 and under. So how do you connect with the Lord, and what about date nights with the hubby?
Our date nights have been put on pause recently.
Yeah, we don't.
But otherwise, you spend the money for the babysitter.
Yeah.
And you go do something free or cheap for your date.
And honestly, even now, sometimes our date nights look like us sitting in my husband's truck together in the driveway and having long conversations. And, that's our date. We're outside or on the porch. Right now we have date nights in the truck some nights. So
romantic.
So I know.
We're out of the house though.
Before the twins were born, Dan and I were getting every Tuesday or Wednesday night, depending on what was going on, and we have a nanny, so we're at kind of at an advantage. We built that into her salary, and her hours. So, so we kind of had that built in. But since the twins have been here, we haven't done it just because we
spread our hours out to be more helpful with the kids.
And
we're
it's hard to get away with twins, especially when they gotta feed and eat so often right now.
And it's just a season that you're in.
Yeah.
Robin, the twins are 4 weeks old?
Yep.
Cool. Got it.
Going fast.
Yes, and Chaos and Critter says date nights can happen in the living room after the kids are down to bed too.
Yep. Send them to bed early. Get a Redbox movie.
Yeah.
Daniel Baker, do you go on field trips? If so, what kinds do you go on for the kids?
Jamerrill?
Well, we don't live too far from Washington, D.C., so we have the nation's top field trip
That's perfect.
location there. So we do our homeschool group that we're in. It meets every third Thursday, but we also usually have 1 or 2 field trips a month, and it's just standard field trips. It might be the firehouse or the children's museum or apple picking or those kind of things. Our last field trip was to Monticello, so we just. I think the biggest problem with homeschooling, and this goes with the socialization thing too, is that there are so many opportunities. There's just so many things to do. You have to really use wisdom into pick what's right for your family for that time, because you can get overscheduled and just as busy as if you were leaving the house every day too.
That's so true.
Yeah. Do you follow your kids' learning with school grades, or how are kids in grades? How do you guys do that? That's from Diane L.
Most homeschoolers are like, what grade are you in?
I know.
Yeah, no,
So we
I
always
have
have to tell them they're in between. They're like, this for this level, this for this. They're like, what? We're like, just first grade. Okay.
I just usually at the beginning of every year when we're rolling into another year, I have to say, okay, if people ask, you're in second grade, you're in fourth grade, you're doing this, because the big thing is, like, if you're at church or if you are out and about at other lessons and things, kids always want to know what grade you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't necessarily go by grades, because like you all have learned, the kids are all over the map with their learning. And so why should a 5-year-old be held back if it's not kindergarten work?
Exactly.
If they are naturally doing second grade work. And same thing if you have a child who's older, who needs help in a few grades down, they might need help in some other subjects. They're able to connect and not feel any shame or anything because they need extra time with that.
Yeah, exactly.
In our church nursery, I think we just put them in their like age level grade.
Yeah, and
classes.
usually it's like kindergarten / first and second.
Yeah.
That's how our homeschool group, it's like 2 grades and the moms pick what they feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Katie Atwell asked a question a bunch of people have asked. Is homeschooling more expensive than public school? I think it is.
Probably.
I
mean, for public school, you're not buying the curriculum.
But public school, you're buying uniforms and you're doing.
Well, it depends. Yeah.
It costs you something either way. So we've talked about what public school can cost you as far as your family dynamics, your influence, and your time together, things like that. Homeschool costs more in if you're going to buy your curriculum, that can get expensive. Right. We haven't yet. We might when the kids get older, but right now we haven't. And it can cost you, being together as a family all the time sounds awesome, but it's not always awesome, right? Like sometimes it's just like, why don't we send you to school again?
Right.
Right. And so that costs you a lot of time and energy and patience and things too. So, and it's good because it builds character and it helps you grow together in the end, but and it forces you to work through issues that you could otherwise avoid. So it's good, but it costs you either way. So.
The Nowhere family keeps on asking a good question. Sorry. I just saw her pop up again. It says, both my boys are on IEP for speech. Could I still homeschool? Do you have any words of wisdom in that, Jamerrill?
We haven't dealt with any IEPs in our family, but I have friends who their child has an IEP through the local public school, and they go to their annual meeting. And what they're able to get is any resources to support whatever the special need may be. And they have the freedom to take the resources or leave them. I know my one friend, if she has any if she has questions or if she needs some direction, she's found support through using her IEP. So
that's what it was in the school district I grew up in. Is since we were paying the same taxes everybody else was, they still let us come in just for like a music class or we did all athletics through the school. I feel like it's becoming less common. I don't know, but
that's not as common where I am. But I know they can get IEPs locally.
Yeah, so a lot of times you still tap into your local public services because you're still paying taxes that everybody else is.
Right.
Let's do like 2 more questions here. Are you planning on always doing homeschool? Paige Gazan.
As long as it works for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's like fitting our vision for our family and the goals we have for ourselves as parents and for our kids and As long as, I think one thing that would make a big difference is if I wasn't working at home all the time. Like if I wasn't home and you were home alone with the 6 kids,
That wouldn't work.
like that would probably be pretty rough.
But Jamerrill does it home alone with 7, so it is possible.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, lots of moms do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it is certainly difficult because my husband started back to college full time this year.
Oh, wow.
So he had been home. So I'm back to the classic homeschool mom, home with the 7 kids.
How's that been going?
So it's just, it's what we do. It's what we've been doing. So
That's how we say. Sometimes you just survive for a little bit.
And also, like in my situation, I have older boys. And so their homeschooling a lot of times looks like they're taking their huge work stack. You remember this, right, Tim? I'm sure. And they each grab a couch and they have their huge stack of books. And, because whenever they get to those teen years, they're very independent in their learning. And so I may spend some time with them in the afternoons. I answer any questions, but they're easy now. Now I have to be creative in finding ways to connect with them within their homeschool.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not like, 7 kids up your armpit or anything.
Yeah.
Do your older
That's a nice
kids-
visual. Thanks for that.
That's right. I know. It's like, yeah.
Do your older kids
Hannah
help
does
at all with your younger ones with their schooling?
We haven't done that. I have read, I'll read these wonderful posts and hear moms talk about how they'll pair up kids. We just haven't had a need for that. I think with my younger group now, I can see where my 9-year-old is a leader and her brothers follow her a lot. So I can see, she reads to them. So maybe her with Amelia, they may end up in some way. It just hasn't. We're like a big group and then a small group.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing that already, I think, with
Hannah.
Hannah
She gets
and
her
Hallie.
practice reading, and then the little ones
That's
get
smart.
to enjoy the story.
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll run through the alphabet together. But Hallie's already we haven't even formally started teaching her yet, and she's already
Knows
Right
she
in there.
surprises us with what she knows.
yeah, it's just because
Yeah.
she's watching the other kids. So it's
Right.
to your point, perfect example of why would you hold a 2-year-old back when she's already doing kindergarten and
Right.
first grade level stuff on some things.
And that's like today, because it was going well, we did an hour, and I wouldn't say you'd have to do an hour, but an hour of spelling and spelling games and spelling bingo. And Amelia, who's 2, almost 3, like your Hallie, she hung out the whole time doing the letter sounds and right there with us. So,
Yeah.
so.
Cool. Let's do one more. If your kids wanted to go to public schools, from Katie Atwell again, when they are older, what would your thought be, and would you let them go? It's hard to read when it's scrolling up. That would be a discussion we would have with our kid if they said, I really want to go to school. I guess I want to know why. I wouldn't just immediately shut it down. I'd want to talk about it. Be like,
Sure.
why? Tell us what's your plan, what's your goal, what are your visions for this? Not that I would say it that way to them, but
Sure.
I would.
Write your vision plan.
Yeah, I know. But I was just kind of what's motivating that desire? That's what I want to
Right.
get at.
Get to the heart of the
And if it
question.
comes out to there's tension between us and her, then sending you to school isn't the solution. That means we got a different problem we need to fix.
Sure. Right.
But if it's I don't know, I wouldn't shut it down immediately. I just want to talk about it and see what's there and consider it.
Yeah.
But,
And we haven't had that experience in our family, so I imagine we would handle it similarly.
yeah.
So far, I think our kids like we have quite a few neighborhood kids on our street, and I think they kind of like the idea that they're homeschooled, and because they see the other kids they have to be out there early in the morning, they don't get to see their family all day.
6:45 at the bus.
Yeah.
Well, I notice whenever our
So-
kids go out to play, when they come back, with the neighborhood kids, and I hope maybe their moms are watching this, I don't know, but is that I always have to unteach my kids stuff, that not academic stuff, but attitude stuff, how you treat people, how do you talk to people stuff. And to me, I'm man, if they went to school every day, I would have to do as much unteaching as I would have to do teaching, just as far as attitudes and how they treat each other and stuff.
And I think that happens, it doesn't matter, I don't think it's because they hung out with these kids. That could be it, but it's also just being around your peers all the time. You think differently with that, and you try to
desire
figure out
their
who you want to
approval.
please.
Yeah, more than your parents or your
Yeah.
siblings or something. Yeah, it's kind of you want to be accepted by them more than you want to be accepted by your brothers or your parents or something. I don't know. That's weird. Well, where can people find more about you, and why should they check you out and everything? All that good
Okay.
stuff.
Well, so I'm over at Free Homeschool Deals. And back when you were talking about the cost of homeschooling,
Mhm.
I was a mom that had several years where I didn't have a homeschool budget. And so I had the internet and I had a library card and I could refill my own printer ink cartridges. So I built my own curriculum just naturally based on my children's interest. And so that's what birthed the whole Free Homeschool Deals thing. So I have a lot of free resources. People can homeschool completely for free with what's over there and just information on other things that are out there. And then I'm over at theencouraginghomeschoolmom.com and here on YouTube because
Cool.
I just love talking about homeschooling. So.
What's your channel all about? I think there's an interactive card around here you guys can click on. Click on the eye in the upper right corner, or
Yeah.
the link is also in the description below. But what's your
So
channel about?
it's just real life encouragement for homeschool moms in the trenches. I mean, it might be a slow cooker meal or a freezer meal, and I do grocery shopping hauls because all of us moms are trying to figure out how to do it all.
I
And
need
so
to
it's
start watching those.
just some real life snippets on how I make it work. It's not perfect. It's not the way everyone should do it, but that's what, and I know some moms said about getting time in with the Lord and those kind of things. And I have some country porch chats, as I call them, where I just talk to my viewers about those kind of topics.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool.
The link is below, and also for those of you guys who we're getting a lot of you guys are new to our channel. I know I don't know where most of you are coming from, honestly, but thank you. It's good to have you.
We're glad you're here.
Yes,
We try to do these live streams with you guys every Tuesday night around 8, and so we'll do another one next week, where it's me and Dana, and usually the twins, either just us talking with you guys about something, or
Lovely
Jammerrill is
guest.
our first guest.
I know.
Oh, yay, yay.
And then on Thursdays we do a live stream with the kids, like the whole family together, doing an activity or something together.
And that
So
time kind of varies. in the
yeah, it's
afternoon
usually somewhere
somewhere.
around 2ish, 3ish in the afternoon, depending on when the twins need to eat and things like
All that
that.
important stuff.
In my own schedule. And then on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays when we publish our vlog. So we got one coming for you guys tomorrow. We had one for you yesterday. So we're here every day of the week in different forms, and we'd love to hang out with you guys. So thank you for hanging out with us here tonight.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Maya, and everybody else who's having birthdays all of a sudden now. And
Everybody.
it was good hanging out with you, and we'll
Yes,
catch
yes.
up with you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.